Kia ora, g'day, welcome back here with another reaction to DJ Shipley on the Sean Ryan Show. I forget which one this is up to. I think this is part 7 or 8 of this 4.5 hour long marathon. I'm about an hour 44 minutes into it right now, so let's jump back in. What is the screen test? I'm hoping that he says what the test involves or what it's about. This is interesting. So they're talking about green team. I know nothing about green team, so yeah, I'd have to go in and do some research, or people chuck some comments in if they want to, but I'll do some research after. I do recall him asking, so Sean asking him about green team, and I think he asked how many went in or go in. So hearing DJ talk about 80 to 90 or something that he just mentioned. Holy heck, I should have been paying more attention. But I did hear him say low 20s, 2022, low 20s come out the other side. So screen test, wondering what it is. Looking forward to hearing about it if he goes into talking about what it is. Sounds like it's something that everybody knows. It's written on a piece of paper. Everybody knows what it is. And he got given some good advice, and even better that he was able to take that on board and apply that and use his time there. It's interesting when he's talking about everybody knows about the test for that particular screen test. I don't know how much people know about the rest of it, the green team screening or whatever their process is. But it's a real valuable point. I'd had a chat with Pup Greg Johnson, ex-NZ SAS operator. Awesome dude. And him and I were talking about it because people, seem to have this. They want to know. People think that knowing what happens on every stage of selection, New Zealand or Australia or even 2-2, that somehow is going to help them better be able to cope with that process when it happens. So many things to that. You've got to get there first to be able to have the opportunity to then see, oh, that's what they were talking about, what happens. And then even if you do make it there, there's no guarantee that knowing is going to help you better process what you're about to experience. The Von Temsky 24-hour dunes with all your kit and the jerry cans, everybody knows about that piece. There's always at least one person, at least in my experience, maybe not always these days, but there had been when I went through, there was always the conversation and well-known conversation that regardless, if you get to that point, you're sort of at the halfway mark, what's happening, what's about to come. But even knowing that, you always lose at least one, or that was the conversation that was going around prior to my selection anyway. And sure enough, I think on my one, we lost a couple during that night of the Von Temsky exercise. So yeah, I don't know, I think that adds to a lot of people that overthink things when it comes to the testing and the selections. Going off topic a little bit here, but sort of just, I'm wondering if, with regards to what DJ's talking about, I'm wondering if there's any similarities to people on their green team screening, knowing what's coming up. I think there's a value in not knowing every detail, I think there's some learning that happens there and then, your ability to adapt and take on board the information and go, oh crap, yep, I need to do this. It's not like it's different to operations. It's different to a job where, there will be some of that unknown. And as Jamie Pinnell has shared, the plan's only as good till it gets till the start line, and then, a whole bunch of things can change. And we've heard Big Phil Campion talk about that, and the mission Operation Barris, I think it was, where they went in and rescued some UK soldiers from some rebels in Sierra Leone. It's just, yeah, I suppose I'm ranting here around to those that might be getting caught up thinking that they need to know what's happening before selection, or wherever that selection is for you, America, UK, wherever. You don't. It doesn't guarantee anything. You've still got to put in the work. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. I've waffled on it. That's awesome. I think that's awesome. And it reminds me when he talks about when he said he's seen one of or some of the best people he's ever known or worked with get dropped. Why the hell am I still here? I think I spoke about that in another video. I'm sure I've spoken about that. Like where I've looked around during cycle in NZ and Australia and thinking to myself, maybe not so much Australia because I felt like I was well prepared, far better prepared for that than I was for the New Zealand one, but definitely on New Zealand cycle, selection and cycle, more so on the cycle. People there and then all of a sudden not there, and I'm still there. Man, I definitely had those thoughts like, holy heck, I'm still here. Why am I still? And then same as what he said again, I was like, I don't care, I'm still here. Like, I'm glad I'm still here, and just cracked on with the work. Wow. Those are some hearty numbers. Cracking out 120 push-ups. Push-ups doesn't sound too bad. The 30 pull-ups. I can't remember what else he said. Even the 120 push-ups. That's blanking. You're putting in a lot of work, extra training to develop that level of muscular endurance, and then whatever the standard is, chest to floor or fist or whatever, or person's palm flat underneath underneath in line with where your chest is, chest to floor touching, and then arms fully extend at the top. Whatever the standard is, I don't know what the standard is there, but man, those are high numbers, and gives me an insight into just what he spoke about, the physical requirements and drain. And he's saying, and I think he said, if you're not hitting those minimums or those numbers, then you're coming last. That's crazy. Awesome.
And
that's huge, to have that opportunity to train, to have that opportunity to get rounds down range, to have but again, that doesn't make it easy. That's what I'm trying to get. You can have all the time in the world to train, but if you don't take advantage of that time, it's not going to serve you much good come time when you rock up on the day, and it'll show through. It'll show whether or not you trained or not. So yeah, awesome to hear though that they were given a lot of time, and that he acknowledges that. I'm sure guys like DJ and other people, they would have found a way anyway, because when you really want to do something, my experience anyway, when you really want to do something and be somewhere, you're going to find a way to make the time that you need to be able to meet those requirements and those standards, and have that mindset and that resilience to be able to do that. So whether you've got a family, whether you're working full-time and got a family and got children, you just have to figure that out. You'll find a way to get through it. Eagles, I'm guessing it's the NFL team. I don't know where they're from. Can't remember, but I have heard the team Eagles. Whether that is, sorry if I got that wrong. Wow, that's cool to hear. Sorry for so many interruptions, but just hearing him, I love how he spoke about that he was in shape, that he was a freak. Like, you have an idea, you have a really good idea. If you've put in the work and you've trained for something like this selection course that they're about to go into, or the screen testing, the terms that they use for this green team, you 100% know if you're in shape and you're ready to go. People have asked, actually I did a video around people asking, how did I train? How did I know when I was ready? So yeah, you know when you're ready and that you're capable of passing those elements of the testing based on the work that you put in, and the results will show. You can tell people anything you like, about, I carried this much weight and I traveled this distance in this amount of time, and you can tell people whatever you want. You can make yourself sound like a legend. You can make yourself sound like a freak, like DJ here. But the proof will show when it comes time for the testing and to perform. That's when the evidence of all that training that you've been talking about, that you've been doing, all that weight that you said you've been carrying, all the times that you were getting on your runs, etc., pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, etc., dips, that's when your results will show. And that's when they matter. Man, I mean, that's awesome. congrats to DJ and his team members that went there and that passed. But hard case, I cracked up when he said it's anticlimactic, because I just had thoughts of Big Phil Campion and them getting not even a pep talk from the CEO, I think it was, that he mentioned, that come and just threw out the berets like a deck of cards, wasn't the ones that they had shaped, and then that was basically it, their badging. And it sort of sounds similar when I hear this, the anticlimactic, in terms of how once they graduated and had passed and now were in their teams or into their respective teams. Hard case. That's what that just brought back. But I think personally, just like Big Phil and most probably like DJ and the other guys, they probably wouldn't have really cared. They would have just been stoked that they've made it. And I think that's a part of, it's nice to have a tradition, don't get me wrong. It's awesome that there's a, like in the SAS, that there's a badging ceremony and a parade in terms of recognizing the work that you've gone through to get to where you are. But I honestly think anybody that makes it in there, if all they did was do something like what Big Phil Campion had happened to him, or with regards to what's happened here with DJ and their green team operators, I think the guys would be just as happy, and they would do they would be like Big Phil, and they'd probably be like DJ. They'd just laugh about it. So it's pretty cool to hear that process. Anticlimactic in terms of what happened for them, and then straight into an FMP, like a full mission profile training exercise that evening, that afternoon, whatever it was, on the back of being told that they're successful. Still, holy crap. And that was on his first downwind, I think it was the first downwind jump where he said he hit the divot fully flared. Man. And then he's carrying on with the rest of all of that, the 10-mile rucks he's talking about, the stretcher carries, the buddy carries, the patrolling, no doubt a whole bunch of other tasks and activities that they would have been doing. Whoa. Wow, man. Oh, man. Far out. What resilience, man. I mean, you hear that. Clearly the physical training and stuff, that is so many things running through my head right now, but clearly the physical training and work, dedication, commitment, discipline, consistency, all those things that he put in has paid off. You spend that time and invest in yourself and developing yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, good things are going to happen. Whether that's contributed, I think it has, it's contributed to his ability to be able to deal with that pain when he had that first hard landing into the divot, to then deal with the pain and or work through the recovery, to have that ability to bounce back so quickly after. I don't know if it's a funding thing or whatever, but the unit's care and concern, it seems like to me anyway, to send a rehab specialist with him on deployment. Clearly they thought highly of this guy. And man, I mean, I don't know the dude, but listening to the way he speaks, so level-headed, so calm, so professional, so just humble in terms of my take, in terms of how he communicates and recounts things, it's no wonder they saw so much in him. And it's awesome that they saw fit to invest these resources in making sure that he was rehabbed fully, properly, and good to go. Some his personality coming through. Yep, good to go, 100%. Even though it really hurts, that's a gnarly depth box jump with all your kit on, and to land on one foot, one leg, 1 foot. Right. But yeah, the resilience, taking the vitamin Ds and all the other supplements he could to try to help that bone grow and heal as well as he could. He stopped dipping, doing the chewing tobacco stuff. That stuff's pretty gnarly. And then I like how he's honest and spoke about he started it straight back up as soon as he was healed up or got cleared. But man, unreal. Like this just adds to, and it's never happened to me, but a lot of the stories, and I know of guys that have finished selection courses with broken feet, and just other really bad injuries. The one that he spoke about, the infection that he got on his SEER course, he could press on the side of his leg and pus would squirt out of the wound by his hip. Body rejecting the screws that were put in. Far out. There's just so much going on. So, like, if you ever wanted a reason to just quit or go, yeah, nah, this, like, I need to be rolled back, I need to get this all right, and just take time and get it done properly, for want of a better term, and to, be 100%. But just his desire to not want to be rolled back, to not want to have to go through all of that again, just a huge testament, to the heart, the courage that this fella has, and just the sheer will and desire to want to serve in that unit. That's far out. Saying that's not easy doesn't even begin to come close to what it is that he's describing, and how much pain and agony that must have been. But I guess for him, and I'm guessing here, faced with the potential of having to be rolled back and do elements of the course and that again, missing out on a deployment versus taking that time to either have the surgery heal, probably take a little bit longer, blah, blah, blah. For him, at least anyway, what I'm listening to just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth that time to take all that extra time he wanted to. He's gotten through the green team phase. He's where he wanted to be, what he put in for. He spoke about that, and now he just wants to do the job. So, man, massive respect to Mr. DJ Shipley, bro. That's awesome. Awesome work. 100%. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here because that's on 31 minutes. Appreciate yous if you spent any time here. I rambled a bit. I stopped this a heck of a lot more because of just the awesome stuff that this guy was talking about. But I thank yous and appreciate yous if you stuck around this long. Anybody going through any challenges, difficulties, hard times, trials, man, hopefully you can take some courage from what, and hearts from what Mr. DJ Shipley here has spoken about, and some of the things that he's been through. I know there's plenty of other people on the internet that you could draw inspiration from as well, to hopefully help you and remind you that you're not alone, to remind you to keep turning up and to stay in the fight, and to also remind you that the sun will shine again, that better days are ahead, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So I hope all of that helps. Remember, as always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins, and who cares wins. And until the next video, a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all.